The current amendments to the Cultural Leaders Bill were ordered by government to accommodate the concerns of Buganda, whose leaders opposed the bill as an attack on their king from the outset. In total, 15 changes were made and tabled formally to the Joint Committee on Legal Affairs, Gender and Cultural Affairs on Wednesday this week. This morning, a cabinet committee headed by Security Minister Amama Mbabazi was in Parliament to reaffirm their commitment to a good law that will cater for all the interests of cultural leaders.
It is in the best interest of our traditional institutions that we have this law, for instance, that clearly defines the terms. I mean, if you leave the term partisan politics, participating in partisan politics, undefined, these poor traditional leaders, what should they do? What should they not do?
Mbabazi also promised more security to the Kabaka and other cultural leaders against attacks by wrong elements.
Indeed, the Kabaka has protection, as all other cultural leaders have. And where there is a perception that the threat has grown higher, we shall proportionately increase the protection.
However, even as he was giving this assurance, the Katikkiro of Buganda, John Baptist Walusimbi, issued a statement this afternoon reiterating that the bill was still unconstitutional despite the amendments to sanitize it. His statement further adds that the law, if passed, would violate the basic human rights of the Kabaka and the people of Buganda. It also adds that the bill unlawfully gives Parliament the powers to interpret the phrase partisan politics, which powers are the reserve of the Constitutional Court to interpret. The Kingdom has indeed boycotted the public hearings of the bill in Parliament this week. Unlike Buganda, the Toro Kingdom today presented their views and asked Parliament to reject the clauses that limit traditional leaders from dealing with foreign governments.
Religious institutions in this country are not limited. Education institutions are not limited. Why bring a law to limit the cultural institutions? What crime have they done? I think we do this relationship for the benefit of our people, and we should be allowed and supported by the government to do so.
Why are you singling out cultural institutions? Can we have justification? Why?
They also want government to set up a National Council for Cultural Affairs to deal with disputes, nurturing the diverse culture in Uganda.
I don't clearly see the Ruvimbi for a cultural institution today. We are still in the hangover of the 1960s before the cultural institutions were abolished. They were restored. We look at this proposed council maybe to sit and we agree as cultural institutions together with the central government and local government to determine the Ruvimbi. What I see in this law and so many other things we have gone through is some kind of a narrow focus on the issues of culture. Everything is being defined in a very narrow sense. And I think as a nation, we are missing something very important. Because we believe culture is the basis for development. And until we do that, we're going to have a problem in this country. All the time rubbing shoulders, all the time initiating laws to restrict, to do this, to do that. I don't see anything in this law now which helps me to promote my culture really.
A good law must involve the majority of stakeholders from inception. When you conceived this idea of this bill, I don't think Toro Kingdom was involved in the inception.
Today was the last day for the committee to take in the public views. A report on the proceedings is expected next week.